Hello and welcome to Chinwag. I'm Kim from Futures Galore.
And I'm Carla at Completely Kano.
And today we're talking about overtraining in dogs and how doing too much can actually be problematic in some situations. Not all, but some.
Yeah, and how, as parents of dogs and also as trainers, we can just really overcomplicate things by
Yeah,
adding too much training.
yeah.
Mm.
That was a simple intro today, wasn't
It's
it?
so simple. Oh my God.
Sometimes I'm like, this is more complicated to explain. We should just get on with
Yeah, we just start talking it all. It'll make sense.
it. I definitely think that I don't know if it's a perception that I feel that people expect really complicated training and behavior plans.
Mm.
And I'm very like, let's just sort the foundations out first and there. And I will say to people something like the counting game or like one, two, three or something. I will
Mm.
say, this is really simple and there
Yeah,
is no more to do with this than what I tell you. Because
yeah,
people are expecting things to be at a more complex level than if you count one, two, three, and then reward on three. This is going to be revolutionary.
yeah, yeah. Which it is often, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I find that with the counting game. I love it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I've been guilty as a trainer. You know, when I first started and it was like I've got all of these new skills that I want to try and see if the
Yeah.
dogs can learn them. And it was like, need to teach the dog this. I want to teach all of these dogs these exact same things, especially in classes as well. And it was
Yeah.
like a bit of a checklist. And it was like, actually, some people would then go, well, why do I need to teach my dog this? And sometimes I was like, for fun.
Yeah.
And some things you can teach for fun, but a lot of it was just a bit. I don't know. You forget that people have lives and that they're busy in
Yeah.
lockdown, less so. We did a lot. But yeah, it was really overcomplicating it for dogs and also overcomplicating it for families that have busy lives. And I think actually there's just so many opportunities where management is actually just a better
Yeah.
solution.
Especially, so I deal with a lot of quite complex behavior cases where there's a lot of different problems that we're trying to sort all at once. We're not trying to sort all at once, but they're kind of everything is a priority, and we're trying to then prioritize the priority list. And
Yeah.
I will just say, we'll just use a baby gate for that. Like
Yeah.
if we don't have the dog in the room at that time, that will solve that problem. And I do appreciate that that in no way is fixing the problem, but you can't do 24/7 training, and
Yeah.
you've got training to do at home, you've got training to do on your walk,
Yeah.
and it becomes everything. And I was like, but if we just use a baby gate, the problem might go because we're dealing with other stuff anyway, but
Mhm.
also we can deal that's a problem we can deal with down the line,
Yeah.
not today. You'll have to excuse, I've got Stan in my office. We've got workman in, so he's a little bit unsafe. If people can hear him
I can't hear anything on
muttering
here,
in the
so
background,
no.
he wants to go and see the workman and he can't. So
Bless him.
because the workmen have to finish the patio
They do have to finish the patio. Kim needs her garden back.
because it's really hard not having a garden when you're used to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're leaving the workmen to. I'm just gonna make them loads of cups of tea today and hope that they go away.
The caffeine makes them
Yeah,
fly harder. I love that.
just I just thought I should apologize. But yeah, I think sometimes if there's a lot to work on, we can't do everything all at once. So we have to come
No.
up with a list of priorities. And sometimes that is using management. And sometimes management is the training option.
Hmm.
It just
Yeah.
is the training option.
Yeah. And I find another thing as well is as a trainer going into someone's house, you really have to assess the handlers. Like
Yeah.
if they are people that are not confident with training or are maybe a little bit I don't know, more frail or not able to physically manage the dog when you're trying to do training. Like I went to see a little bit of an older couple, and they have a really young, bouncy, gorgeous golden retriever, and they were struggling with jumping up at visitors, you know,
Yeah.
standard Goldie.
Yeah. Love
And
everyone.
yeah, and I was like, we've got a few different options here. You've got the mat training route, but actually it's quite frustrating for them.
Yeah.
So it just depends, you know, that might be something that we build up to. And I showed them how to do it, and they were confident in starting to build it up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, the other best option for me for Goldies is to have a toy outside the door, and the pe person
Yeah.
just sticks it in their mouth, and
Yeah.
that's what they quite like. And then I came back and they were like, we've tried the mat training. She's okay, but she jumps up. But we did the thing with the toy and it's revolutionary. She doesn't
Yeah,
jump. I'm like, see, just leave a
yeah,
toy outside.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I could have spent, weeks and weeks building up solid
Yeah.
foundation for mat training, but actually it just was not worth the time or
No.
the stress for
And
them.
and
So,
like you say, I think for a lot of dogs who are uber friendly
mm,
or very worried, like on kind of
mm,
either end of that scale, mat training can be not cause other problems, but it can kind of exacerbate other problems because
yeah,
the dog is so frustrated.
yeah.
Either they jump up and they're nippy or mouthing, it kind of makes it when they are released from the mat, it's like,
It's
wow,
more
it's
explosive.
more.
Yeah,
And if they're worried, then they feel trapped. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely prefer other, if it's got movement in it, I think a lot of dogs prefer that anyway.
Yeah, or sometimes what I'll do is I'll flip it the other way around. So I'll do if the dog is pretty good, um, generally at mat training, but actually it's when people come in that it's quite hard. You do the give the toy thing or the
Yeah.
alternative behavior first, and
And
then once
then,
they've come down a little bit to
yeah,
stop them irritating people, you use the mat
yeah,
space,
yeah.
and then
So,
they're much happier to do it that way around. So yeah, it's just reading your handlers, it's reading the dog, it's reading the space that you're working in as well with
yeah.
that sort of thing.
It's also how much time they have because mat training for a
Yeah.
lot of dogs, especially if you've got like an adolescent golden retriever who's like, I don't want to lay still.
No, no.
Want to. No, thank you. I've no interest. Like you're working against a lot there, and that's going to take a
Mhm.
lot of time and a lot of patience. And if they're a younger couple and they've got two or three kids, and that when they're going to find the 5 minutes of peace in the house to do
Yeah.
the 5 minutes of mat training, like that's also they've got kids running around. The dog's
Yeah.
not gonna
No, exactly. And then do you know what? Baby gate.
baby gates.
Baby gates are
Oh,
the best thing ever.
I don't know if the dog owning community buy more baby gates than
I
parents.
think they do, and if they're not, I think they should.
Yeah, I'm a massive Baby Gate fan. I just think it solves in a really quick moment so many problems.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and and that can mean that you don't have to do because as well, okay, maybe the adolescent golden retriever would just naturally calm down anyway. So they go through a phase of being uber excited when people come, over
Yeah.
the top, bouncy, bit mouthy, maybe, really excited. But at 18 months, that
Mhm.
behavior quite often just naturally, they're like, oh, it's a person, but I don't need to jump up. It's a lot of energy now to jump up. So if you
Yeah.
just manage it for a few months, actually the behavior might just naturally sort itself out.
Yeah. Goldies tend to go from like young adolescents to old men like quite quickly. There's no middle ground
No,
for them.
no, not at all. No. I used to have a Goldie, and when we came home in the car, we used to have to keep our receipts, and she would carry our receipts into the house, and then we put them in the bin. But we were in the
Yeah.
cup holder, we'd have like a little stash of them, so you could
Yeah.
have it. She'd get
Yeah.
really annoyed if you didn't have one. So yeah, definitely things.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think as trainers, we know, or we can kind of guess.
Mhm.
I think this one's just going to go on its own.
Yeah.
So should we put loads of time into it or
Mm.
should we just see how it goes? Because sometimes if we actually fix this other thing, if we work on that, that one might come along for a ride by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, or like a really good thing is to kind of assess, when you're working with behavior work or reactivity, it's kind of taking all of the elements. If you've got quite a complicated case, so you've got a bit of separation anxiety,
Yeah,
you've got a little bit of reactivity, you've got a little bit of, I don't know, resource guarding, if everything's going on. Obviously, once you've gone through the veterinary route and physio route and you've done the
yeah,
healthcare, it's like what foundation
yeah,
behaviors can I teach that are going to go to all of
yeah,
these things? What ultimately is going to be the
yeah,
most valuable thing for me to teach if this person's on limited time and I can build up this dog's confidence,
yeah,
you
totally.
know? Confidence
Yeah,
game, like it's so valuable for you to just take a big step back rather
yeah,
than try and do every single thing as its individual, because usually they're all interlinked anyway. So if you
yeah.
can just do one game that's gonna work on all of
And
that.
that's why something like free work can be
Yeah.
so useful because it can tick so many different boxes and
And it
can
takes no time for you to, as
no,
a handler, you don't have to be there
no, you don't
much,
have to be
really.
there. You can just do it at meal times. I
Yeah,
get people to have a box of bits that they can use that they can just put out. So, there are things that we know will, but they always look unassuming, I think. I think the things that tick the most boxes are also the ones that people go, okay, Yeah, that'll solve
Yeah.
all my problems.
Yeah, like
No, I
yes,
promise.
sniffing and licking things. That's going to
Yeah,
solve my resource guarding
yeah.
and
And
my
you're like,
dog's
no,
ability to be
really,
left."
really
Yeah,
gonna make a big difference.
yeah.
Um, I think also when you have clients who throw lots of things at you, they want their dog to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C,
Mm.
and one, two, three all at once. And it's trying to say, like, we could do that, but that is going to be overwhelming for your dog. And if you're working with a dog who's predominantly going to be treat based in their rewards, it also means that they get treats for loose lead walking, treats for recall, treats if they see another dog and they've
Mm.
behaved appropriately. We might scatter treats on the floor to kind of help them regulate themselves.
Mhm.
And so then you are rewarding. And I am not someone who will say this very often, but you're over rewarding to the point where the dog doesn't actually know what they're getting the rewards for because they're
Yeah.
getting them all the time.
Or they're getting sick of whatever you're giving
Or they're,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to be like, right, well, we'll deal with this because I need that. Like, we might deal with reactivity or frustration based greeting because that will automatically help your loose lead walking. So if you can, we can just put some management in place for your loose lead walking and deal with the behavior when we see other dogs. It might just sort the loose lead walking out because that's an anxiety based rather than training based
Yeah.
problem. But if it doesn't, we'll come back to it. I'm not forgetting about it. We just have to pick one and go with.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your dog's gonna be like, treat for loose lead walking, brilliant. Here, you can go off the lead. Okay, come back. Here's another reward. And then,
Yeah.
oh, there's a dog. Here's a treat for that. And the dog just doesn't know what the treat was actually for because it's just too many.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trainers, and I probably did down the line, say use their dinner for a lot of it. And you can use bits of food, is fine.
Yes.
If you're using a lot of treats because you're teaching something and it involves quite a lot of treats for that thing you're teaching, then you can reduce dinner down, or you can use it for once every few days, but you can't use your dog's every dinner and make them work for it. Like they need to have that downtime and they need to have time not under pressure when they're eating.
I also think as well that, well, I would hate to have to work for all my food. I mean, I eat a lot, so that would be a lot.
Yeah, you'd be forever
But,
working.
but I just think that's like working for kibble. I'm
Mm.
not going to work for broccoli. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just not. I might work for chocolate, but I'm not working for broccoli. So I think it lowers the drive ultimately.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to have a scale of rewards. So the dog has to find the reward rewarding. And
Mm.
if they're finding it rewarding because they're hungry, I'm not sure that's that rewarding.
No, you can do, if your dog's really foodie, you can do like maintenance work with
Yeah,
it, which
yeah,
I think is really good. So it's just really simple things like, I don't know, like scatter feeding. You can use that as part of your free work.
totally.
Yeah, like if it's easy peasy free work and you've got a snuffle mat and they love their snuffle mat, sprinkle a bit in the free work
Yeah.
setup and use it in there where they're not having to do anything too hardcore. Because as well, if your dog is really hungry and they've not had dinner, you can't think. They've
No,
got no glucose.
I
Like
can't think if I'm I mean, you saw how much I ate just before we started recording today.
yeah.
Like, I can't do stuff on when I'm
Mm.
hungry. I am a big believer in fueling your body to work at its optimum. So
Yeah.
I do eat a lot. But yeah, it doesn't work for me. When I'm working with a dog who is going to have quite a lot of rewards, we do look at the quality of those, and we do maybe look at using a food that is a complete food, but a very high value one that you wouldn't necessarily be able to afford for their meals, like day in, day out, but is freeze dried meat or something, so that they're getting really good quality treats. And then we can knock their daily food back a little
Yeah.
bit to balance it out. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think the other thing that we run the risk of with doing too much training is that the dogs get so used to listening and carrying out their cues that they actually don't know what to do when they're not cued.
Yeah.
And I saw this a lot. I think I saw it a lot more during lockdown. I might not have done. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but it felt like during lockdown, people got dogs. They also had a lot of time. And so they put a lot into their dogs. Brilliant. Never going to complain about that. But to the detriment of a few dogs I worked with who were literally unable to not be told what to do. They did
Mm.
not understand nap time. And I can
Yeah.
take myself off and regulate that myself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think I had this conversation quite a few times with various trainers who have said that they've done the same thing to their own dogs and
Yeah,
they regret overtraining their dogs because they wanted to look like they had the best trained dog because
yeah,
they were a trainer.
yeah,
So that pressure for them to be able to teach the dog everything, but also learn their own skills for their training
yes,
sessions, just means the dogs just don't know how to regulate, don't know how to settle, they don't know how to be in time, not under instruction.
yeah.
And
Whereas,
it's with the working dogs, it's worse.
yeah,
It's
oh
so
yeah,
much worse.
totally. Whereas I think I'm the other way with Stan. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a huge repertoire of cues because he hit 6 months and we went into lockdown. And my life, like I know for a lot of people, lockdown was lovely and it was really chilled. Mine was not. Mine was
Mm.
pretty horrific. And so I had very little time to put into him. And he's laid next to me now because that's where he would lay during lockdown. Him and
Yeah.
I would be in this office for hours on end, and he at 6, 7, 8 months old did nothing but lay and sleep. So he's
Yeah.
almost the other way. Like if he does
Yeah.
too much, he's like, "Whoa, there's a
I
lot today." Like if
need a break.
yeah, so we did loads of demos on calls. Like he's a really good demo dog in my office. Like he understands how to do recall training in this space. Like,
Yeah.
but the stuff I wanted to do with him, I just didn't have any time. By the time it got to the end of the day, I was absolutely done. So
Mm.
the thought of
Yeah.
doing anything more was too much. So yeah, I think he's the opposite. But I
Yeah, because
do think with
we
it,
ended we ended up with quite a lot of adolescent dogs, post lockdown. When we had the
yeah,
lockdown puppies, it was, people were at home, they were always around to
yeah,
entertain the puppies, the dogs. We ended up then with adolescents with quite severe separation anxiety
yeah,
because people were going back to work, but also they were like, I don't know how to do anything without my human here. It's like hand in hand with your separation anxiety,
yeah,
isn't it? I
yeah,
can't be alone, I can't do alone, I can't think
yeah.
alone.
Whereas
Can't do anything.
actually, when I work with puppy owners now, and I
Mm,
don't do classes, I only do one-to-one, so I can give really specific advice. I'm very much like they need nap times all the time.
yeah,
If you think that they've been asleep too much, they probably haven't. Like they probably
yeah,
need more. Like we cannot get them to rest and grow enough. So the more you can focus on sleep, the easier everything else is.
yeah,
Instead of thinking, oh, let's train, train, train. I'm like, no, let's sleep, sleep, sleep.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
We
Need
can't,
the
we're not going to
downtime.
run out of time to train them. So, but a overtired puppy is going to be really problematic.
I think so. Yeah.
So I think prioritizing what you want to do and not worrying you will have time to do other stuff. You don't have to do everything on day one
Mm.
is really
Yep.
helpful.
Yep. Yep.
And let your
That's
dogs be a dog.
let them lie.
Yeah. You see that with recall a lot, don't you? When you're working on recall with people. And I will on our my recall sessions, I'm like, we're gonna have over 5 minutes where we're not going to do any recall training.
Yeah.
Poor
Where they
dog has
can
been
just
nagged to death.
Yeah, I'm like I call out be more dog. So if
Yeah.
I'm in gun dog classes, I'll shout be more dog. And what that means is you go to the nearest hedgerow and you just point and you let them sniff and you
Yeah.
just tell them to go and be a dog.
Yeah.
People are like,
Absolutely.
why? And I'm like, just do it.
Yeah. Or I will make people do silent dog walks where they're not allowed to talk to their dog
Yeah,
periods of time because
yeah,
they're cueing their dog constantly. And I'm like,
yeah.
right, okay, no, 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 no.
Yeah, even then when you
Um,
say, can you like break time, go give them a break, and they're like, here, come
yeah,
here, go there. It's like break. That means no thinking.
that's it.
They're just
Yeah,
whatever. I'm like, if they pull you, fine, a little bit.
yeah,
I don't care. It's time
absolutely.
not under. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. I think we are saying it's important to train. It's important
Mm.
to have a dog that responds well to cues, but it also is important that your dog can do behaviors without being asked to as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I always worried more so with Millie. She didn't go anywhere she didn't go anywhere on walks. She did her own thing, but if I called her once on a walk, that was like a lot and quite rare. Like she
Yeah.
just was always around me somewhere. She
Mm.
would Stan goes a bit further. Well, he is a pointer. He's kind of designed to go a bit further.
Yeah.
Um, and so I would literally have to be like, oh, I need to call her back and reward her because she was just always around. So you've got to find the balance because the dogs where you don't have to call them and they're just doing their own thing are really, really well trained. to not go. And that is what kind of the aim of being on a dog walk, isn't it? Not to be come back, come back, come back all the time. It's like, oh, they're just around and I can
Yeah.
record that.
Yeah, like the auto check-ins
Yeah.
and just capturing those behaviors and
Yeah.
rewarding them rather than waiting to say it. I get quite a lot of people who will say like I'm not rewarding my dog for doing that good behavior because I didn't ask them to do it. It's like they've just thought about
Exactly
that
what, like,
all by themselves. Like that's
if you
really good.
just reward that and nothing else, they're going to be really well behaved.
Even better
Yeah.
than under instructions. So
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you can toss a treat over there. That you can definitely do that.
I think that's the other thing as well, isn't it? When dogs are just behaving well, we
Yeah.
just ignore them.
Mm. hmm There's a lot of emphasis on fixing problems
Yeah.
before, when you could always just capture
Yeah.
a good bit. I did a loose lead walking session with a client that I've been working with for a while the other day, and the dog was doing the yo-yoing forwards and
Oh,
backwards.
yeah.
So it was kind of moving forwards, turning, looking at her, and then
Think
coming
back
back
for a
again.
treat.
And I'm like, it's just timing. You're just leaving it too late. Like you've
Yeah.
created this pattern, and I'm like, throw your treat behind you, and then when she catches up, mark
Reward
it,
them.
reward,
Yeah.
mark it. So just change the pattern. She's like, I never thought to do this. Really easy. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Well, what happens with that is that the dog learns that to get the treat, they have to be ahead.
Have to be forwards to come
So they
back
have to
again.
go
Yeah.
ahead and then they come back and get the treat.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I want another snack. And then they go ahead again.
Yeah.
Whereas either, like you say, drop it behind and wait for them to catch up, or just
Mhm.
get that second treat in really quick. So they haven't
Yeah.
got time to go ahead. They're like, oh, cool. If I hang around here, I'll get more snacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's usually a really simple fix with things like that, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm working with a really lovely lady after we've recorded these today, and her granddaughter will come and she's like such a good dog trainer. And I think kids make really good dog trainers.
They do. They're little
Well,
sponges for learning, aren't they?
yeah, and they're so used to learning. They're so used to taking instruction and following
Yeah.
instructions, where adults have so
Or
many
not.
preconceived ideas. So yeah, my client was like, "Do you mind?" And I was like, "No, not at all. She's
No.
brilliant."
Awesome. Love that.
And so yeah, so I think about, yeah, like you say, be more dog. Let your dog be a dog. Make sure they're safe. Make sure they have good response to cues, but also like just take the pressure off.
Mhm.
It doesn't all have to be done today.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine
Yeah.
if you do some tomorrow. It's going to be fine if you do some in a year.
Yeah. Just sack that off, have a cup of tea,
Yeah,
cuddle your dog, and then try again tomorrow.
exactly. And think about management to solve
Yeah.
90% of your problems.
Yeah. Invest in stair gates. Maybe we should get a stairgate company as sponsor.
Maybe, maybe, maybe that's what we need to do. I don't even know any brands. Couldn't even name a brand of Stairgate, and yet on a daily basis, I recommend them.
Yeah, this could be a thing.
Even brand. I'm trying to even imagine a
I don't
Stairgate
know.
brands on them.
I literally don't know.
No, haven't got a clue. Well, if you are a Stairgate brand maker person and you want to sponsor a podcast, drop us a line.
What's that?
Right, on that note, we'll see you next week.